Hi, in this video we will try to understand the working of the code for image colorization of images using deep learning. So basically what we have to do, first of all, we have to upload the file in Google Colab. So for that you have to upload your IPYNB file in any directory of Google Drive. So first of all we have uploaded it in any directory. After that you just right click on that and open with Collaboratory. So it will open it. So now it is opening. So basically Google Colab is a platform backend support by Google, which tries to give you a backend environment to run all of your code in on their servers. So basically we don't have to install a lot of libraries in that. So using pre-installed libraries of machine learning and many other libraries, we can easily implement the code on the run. So first of all, this is the Google Colab uh, front view. So for example, this is the connect button. So whenever I will press this connect button, it will try to connect the backend of their data center. So for example, they will allow me some RAM as well as some SSD to work on. So for example, this is the environment is initializing. So they so let me see. So for example, if you see, this is the Python 3 Google Compute backend network, as well as they have given me the 12.6 GB of RAM as and 23.17 GB of I guess storage. Okay, so this is the backend environment they have provided. So what we have to do, we just have to run this code in Google Colab. All the libraries will be installed over there, so we don't have to install it. If we want to run this code of Python in any system, we have to basically run this we have to install multiple libraries. For example, this block is using importing and installing the libraries, multiple libraries we are using. So we have to install all the libraries in our PC to run this code. But in Colab we don't have to install these libraries, because these libraries are already pre-installed in the backend by Google. Okay, so first of all we'll try to understand the working of each library functions. For example, this is uh, this is just importing of all the libraries required to complete the task. So for example, this is just simple libraries from Python, so just to perform some operations, division, multiply, print functions. So this is the Keras library. The Keras library is basically used to make the deep neural network architecture, as well as it is the library provided by Google to train your deep learning model as well as test it. So this is the main library, Keras library. So CV2 library is this library is the computer vision 2 library. So basically it has all the computer vision related functions we can perform on the image. So this is the OS. Basically this library used to go into multiple paths of the operating system. For example, sometimes we want to change the directory and want to perform some operations on the file in the operating system. So this library used to do that. So this is the NumPy library. NumPy library is very common library for NumPy manipulating the arrays, NumPy arrays. So basically we have all the data, mostly data is available in the for in columns and rows. So this is a exact implementation of arrays. So this is a very common library. So matplotlib just to plot the libraries functions. So like we want to plot the results as well as many other things. So this matplotlib library is used to do that. So this is the PL library. PL library is the same like CV2, just few other functions perform on the image. So this is the same numpy. So the sk image color, this is another library to perform some color conversion from like RGB to grayscale. So for example, in this uh, code we will convert the RGB to grayscale image to make the dataset for the deep neural network. So for that we need a scale image library. So and this is the Kira dataset sub function. So basically we are getting a function C for 10. So this is the dataset from provided by Keras. So these functions we can easily use these functions to library functions to call the to download as well as process the dataset for deep neural network. So this is the provided by Keras library functions. Okay, and this is the Keras model library functions. So these functions provide us to model the architecture of the deep learning model. For example, this is the sequential model, and this is the model. This is another function of the model. So sequential model is a type of model in deep learning. So basically, and these Keras layer library function. This is the function used to define the multiple layers of the deep learning model. For example, in deep learning models we have multiple layers in like input layers, output layers, and some hidden layers. So we can define our custom architecture based on these layers. For example, these dense layer, these con 2D layer, flatten, max pooling, reshape, con 2D transport, all these type of layers, these are the type of layers in deep learning. So after that we are using Keras callback. Callback basically is a callback library used to for example store the results during the training of the deep neural network. So let's say we are in the training of our deep learning model from the data set, but during training we want to save some the model parameter, as well as do we want to get some results saved in some specific location. So that callbacks used to define that. For example, this is the callback you define during in the code. So this is the pre-processing of image. So some image data generator is the function. So this is the Kira utility library. So some backend functions to perform from this. So this is the all the implementation of the libraries we used in this working. Okay, so let's moving towards the first block. So let's try to run this. So whenever we try to run this will basically import all the libraries from the backend to this environment. But this is because this backend is already installed these libraries, so we didn't got any errors. But if any of the library will be missing from the if you run to try to run this in your system, then it will show an error. So let's say moving towards the next block. So in this block we have defined a function, basically RGB2 gray function. So this is function is performed to for example we have to perform load the data as for the C10. So basically we are using C10 dataset. So C10 dataset is a dataset with 10 classes from ranging from airplane, car, as in dog and cat, so etc. So this is the 10 classes uh, uh, label dataset. So basically we use that labels dataset to just see our working of the colorization. So basically what we have to do, we have to colorize the grayscale image using deep learning. So we have downloaded, we will download this C10 dataset, but this is the in the color format in RGB. So we have to perform a grayscale processing on that images to make a dataset in grayscale. So the input of the deep learning will be a grayscale image, and output will be a 3-channel RGB image. So that's why we need this function. So what does this function is doing, this function is just converting the RGB image into grayscale image for all the dataset. All the dataset